Alright, welcome back to part 5, round 4 of game 2 for Unfair. Alright, so we're making some excellent progress here. One thing to keep in mind is that we've already finished 3 rounds. There's 3 of these blue Funfair City cards in the discard. This is going to be the 4th round, which will be the last of the 4 blue Funfair City cards. After that will come 4 of the red Unfair City cards. So things are going to get a little bit hairy after this round. So players are definitely going to want to kind of cement the most important stuff now before things get messy. Alright, the starting player is player 2. So player 2 is going to move this to the event draw marker spot. He's going to draw an event card. This player draws an event card, player 1. Player 2 moves the marker to the city event card step. And we flip it over to reveal a 2-for-1 deal. During the park step, which are these red steps down here, once this round, so it means only once, so you have to use one of your actions, but it couldn't be used each one of these tickets just once for this entire round. If a player pays to build an attraction or an upgrade from the market, which is going to be this group of whatever 6 cards happens to be available at the time, the player may immediately build their choice of another attraction or upgrade from the market up to the same amount for free. That's powerful. So, for example, if a player chose to use an action to pay 5 coin to build an air conditioning unit, they could then also purchase the theater for free, get the theater for free because it's equal or less than the value of the air conditioning. That's going to be useful, but it's only during the park step. Now, the event play step. Alright, so this player is the starting player. This player has quite a few cards in his hand. Let's take a moment to look. Remember, he can close an attraction in his park, which would mean that he wouldn't get any star value from that attraction at the end of this round, but he'd get to build upgrades for half price. This gives him an extra 4 park step actions. I think he's going to go ahead and he's going to go ahead and play this last because he might need that blue icon in case somebody does something bad to him. So I think the first thing he should probably do is search the park discard pile and choose a card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So, he's obviously looking for something that's going to match his blueprints. And we have 3 blueprints over here. He's looking for superior qualities. Now, there's 2 superior qualities in the market already. He's looking for some more quality upgrades. He's looking for a sideshow, which he doesn't have yet. He's a thrill ride and a leisure ride. And he's also looking for a food outlet and guest services upgrades. So he needs quality and he needs food service location. There is none here, so he's going to search the park discard pile for what he's looking for. Remember, we're looking for superior quality. That's a possibility. You can put that in his hand. Or a food service of some sort. Or I think he's going to put that in his hand because he needs that to complete his and it's not going to show up pretty soon. So he's going to go ahead and put that in his hand. And he was just searching through the park discard pile, so there's no reason to reshuffle it because it's the discard pile. It's not the pile which new cards are drawn from. So that just goes right back there. And over to player 1, who now needs to play an event card. He has the event card he drew at the beginning of this round and the one he had left over from last round. He only has 2 event cards. So he needs to pay some close attention here. This would give him 8 extra stars, but he's going to play this last because if somebody else has a Media Blitz card that they play, it overrides this one. So I think he's going to first go ahead and play this. He could do something bad by demolishing an upgrade to his opponent, but his upgrade doesn't have many upgrades yet. His opponent doesn't have many upgrades. So he's going to go ahead and build the top card of the park deck in his park immediately for free. Otherwise, put it into his hand. That's a pretty powerful card, but you're kind of at the risk, at the mercy of whatever this happens to be. Ooh, it's a snack center. He can definitely build that immediately for free because it'll just go right here. Now, it isn't worth any stars, but it does contribute to his strategy of earning a lot of money because it'll be equal to twice as many coins as any ride attraction in his park. And since he has a Florida's roller coaster, and it's already worth 5 points, that'll be worth 10 points every guest step. So that's a powerful staff member right there. He's going to hide that for a minute, and it's back to the starting player who can play another event card if they choose. Now, of course, they're going to be keeping this other one for last. they're trying to decide. This player's trying to decide whether to close an attraction in the player 1's park or to gain some money. They know that they're going to need to be building a lot of quality upgrades, and they're going to be paying half price, but that's still a lot. Half of 15 is still about 7, rounded down. So they're going to gain 5 coin, not because their strategy is money, but because their strategy is build lots of upgrades. Next, back to this person. Do they pass? No, they do not. They're going to go ahead and play this. Media Blitz will come into effect during the guest step as long as the other opponent doesn't also play a Media Blitz card. Now, unbeknownst to player 1, player 2 does not have Media Blitz cards, and since they see that player 1 has used up all of their event cards, they are not worried about keeping this on hand anymore. So they're going to play Efficiency, which will give them an extra park step this round. That goes right there. And player 1 has the pass because they have no more event cards to play. But player 2 can go ahead and use this special power of their super attraction as an event action, which lets them choose an upgrade from the market and put it into their hand, and then pay to build as many upgrades as they want from their hand. So over here, they're going to go ahead and choose this upgrade, since obviously they need that, and put it into their hand. Of course, they're also responsible for filling that gap, and look at another superior quality upgrade. And now they can choose to build as many upgrades, only upgrades, not new attractions, from their hand as they would like, as long as it's all in one attraction. So they need to reconsult their blueprints to make sure that they're on the right track here. They need a monorail with 2 superior quality upgrades. Now, they can't afford to build those directly right now. They are also going to need a sideshow, which they don't have yet, for a quality upgrade. The leisure ride here is going to be the monorail, so that'll be the same thing. And then the thrill ride is going to need a guest services upgrade. Now, they do have a guest services upgrade in their hand. It's this restroom. So they could go ahead and just build that now, and that's not bad. It's 3 coin. It doesn't give them any stars, but it does give them an icon. So they're going to go ahead and obviously build it on the biggest attraction so far, which is this one right here. It has the most stars. So they're going to go ahead and pay the 3 coin and build that upgrade onto it. And the benefit of doing it now is that you don't waste any of your park steps, and so you can then use your park steps later to do other things. Nice. Their restrooms are built. Alright, they don't want to build any more upgrades during this period onto that attraction, I don't believe, but let's just double check. They could build any number of upgrades right now, but it has to be all in the same attraction. Yeah, I think they're going to build the inclined route loop, honestly. It's only 6. So they're going to go ahead and pay the 6 coin and build the inclined loop as well. Nice. So there we have it. They've already managed to build 2 more upgrades onto their attraction without wasting any park step actions. So now that their action is done, that special action at the bottom of that card, it moves back to player 1, and they have a chance to play an event card action, which they don't have any actions, nothing that happens during the event stage, and no event cards. So it's back to player 2, and they're going to play their final event card, which will let them either demolish the opponent's quality or theme upgrades, or renovate their existing park. Now, looking over at player 1, they do not have any quality upgrades or theme upgrades. They only have a feature upgrade. So this is bottom half is useless to player 2. They could save it for later, but they want to get some new cards for next time. So they're going to go ahead and close an attraction. And of course, they need that leisure ride to have a lot of quality upgrades, and those are expensive. So they're going to close the monorail, the leisure ride monorail, and so they can build upgrades for half price rounded down this turn. Since it's a pinned event, they're going to need to go ahead and slide that right next to this other event card that they pinned, which gives them that extra park step. And so they're going to go ahead and just flip this monorail over, so they won't be getting the value of its stars this turn. It's basically closed. Guests aren't interested in it because it's closed. Alright, now player 1 passes again. Player 2 now finally passes, and now the starting player moves to park step 1. Alright, now lots already happened in this game, and we haven't even started the park step. So now, of course, during the park step, we have to remember that if we build something from the market, we can build another for free of the same or less value. So, obviously, this player 2 is going to need some things to meet his requirements. He already has a superior quality upgrade in his hand, but he's going to need at least 2 of them. So if he pays to build 1, he gets another for free. Now, the value here is 15 and 15, but he only has to pay half when he builds it onto his monorail. And remember, he needs a monorail with 2 superior quality upgrades. So he's going to go ahead and pay just half, rounded down, which is half of 15 is 7.5, but rounded down would be just 7. He's going to go ahead and pay those 7 coin for 1 superior quality upgrade onto his monorail, but then he gets the second for free because of this card. Now, he can only do it 1 time this round. This is his big whammy, so he's getting 30 coin worth of upgrades for only 7 coin. That's a huge steal. So you can see how things like this really compound and add up when you use like the event card in tandem with a special card like this. Now, of course, he needs to replace those 2 cards as well to make sure that the market stays full. So he's going to go ahead and flip those over. And I'm going to go ahead and tuck those in behind the monorail. Nice. All right, so back to this player. It's player 1's turn to do something during the park step. Now, of course, he also is keeping an eye on this card, and he's tempted to build something, but he better check his blueprint here. He knows that he needs a theater, and he doesn't have one yet in his park. But here's one here in the marketplace. If it's a pretty cheap attraction, though, and if he builds it, there's nothing else here in the marketplace that's worth 4 or less, so he wouldn't get that 2-for-1 deal. If he bought something slightly more expensive, though, for example, a leisure ride, he'd get that for free as well, but he already has a perfectly good leisure ride in his park, and he certainly doesn't need to pay a lot more than he needs. But he could purchase something, say like an air conditioning, which would not only give him the air conditioning, but the theater for free. I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to go ahead and pay the 5 coin for the air conditioning and build it. Now it says not on rides, so it's going to have to be on the sideshow or the food outlet. Now let's take a moment to decide which is probably best. We know that you can't, they each have just 1 icon right now. He's probably going to want to go ahead and put it onto his sideshow, just because, you know, the food outlet image shows that it's an outdoor vending location anyway, so it doesn't make much sense to have air conditioning on it, except for the benefit of the cast members, the employees. Now, of course, we need to refill this really quickly, and he has a moment to change his mind. He already spent 5 coin on the air conditioning. Does he want to get a vending machine or the cinema? He's going to get the cinema because that's more valuable than a vending machine. And he gets that for free, remember, because of this 2-for-1 deal up here on the city card. So he goes ahead and builds that for free right next to his leisure ride. Now notice, player 1 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attractions in his park. He's maxed out his capacity, but he's totally ignored the fact that he has 2 unbuilt super attractions. He could build 1, but he's run out of space. Notice how this one gives him extra powers to have extra icons at the end. And then Robopocalypse gives him the power to build new upgrades onto it. They're both expensive, though. And since we're trying to maximize money here, his only option to fit these in is to demolish his existing Florida's Roller Coaster and squeeze this one in instead. And I don't think that's worth it for this player, because it wouldn't be worth the $20 to him unless it was earlier in the game, perhaps. So I think he's going to go ahead and just keep the 5 that he has, but he's going to make sure that he's meeting his blueprint here. So far, he has a theater. Yes, he does. Does he have a food outlet? Yes, he does. Does he have a sideshow? Yes. Does he have a thrill ride? Yes. Does he have a leisure ride? Yes. He's feeling pretty good about himself. So now it's park step number 2, and this player is going to go ahead and decide whether he needs to build anything more. So remember, you got to keep looking at your blueprints, but if you look at your blueprint too much, and this is a strategy tip, if you look at your blueprint too much and then do something, your other opponents are going to guess that what you just did directly relates to the blueprint, and they're going to try to thwart it. It says all attractions must be exactly 4 icons in size to get this bonus target. Well, let's take a moment to look at what he's got going on here. Alright, so here we have a monorail that has 3 stars already. Oh, wait. No, it says 4 icons. There we go. The monorail has 2 icons, and then that extra pirate theme causes it to be 5 icons. So he might need to remove that pirate icon in the future. Over here, the Robopocalypse has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 icons on it. So it may not be worth it to try to meet this bonus section, but it's worth 25 points. Okay, over here, he certainly has a leisure ride with a quality upgrade, but he really needs a sideshow as well. And then over here, he already has a thrill ride with guest services, but he doesn't have that food outlet. So he needs to build a food outlet and find a sideshow. Now, he already has a food outlet in his hand, so he's fine. But in the marketplace, a sideshow has come available. He better build that now before somebody else takes it. But he only has 5 coins in his hand. So he's going to go ahead and take the action where he just goes ahead and places it in his hand, but he doesn't pay for it. He doesn't have to build it, but he gets to put it in his hand so that nobody else can. That places the spot, and it's back to player 1. Player 1 has plenty of money. What is he going to do? Well, he realizes that he needs to maximize profit, right? But he also knows that he needs to also try to maximize points at the end of the game. So he's making a tough decision. This is the last chance for him to pick blueprints. Should he try to meet a second set of blueprints? Or should he just go for money? He's going to go for money. So over here, he sees the splashdown element, but he already has one on his throw right here, so he can't do that. What should he do? I think he should look at a blueprint. So he's going to go ahead and draw 2 blueprints, because he still has another park action. If this doesn't turn out well, he's going to look at these 2 blueprints and decide whether to keep one or none. This one says he needs an attraction with 3 guest services upgrades. This one says he needs a thrill ride with some special elements. This would give him quite a few points, and he already has a thrill ride with a splashdown element. He could probably get that done. Now, even though this is dangerous, this wasn't part of his original plan, he's going to do it. And we'll see how that turns out. Alright, so that was his action. Park step 3. Now, this guy needs to find something that he can afford to build. Obviously, the food outlet costs 7. He doesn't have enough money, but he's going to get an extra park step. So I think what he's going to do is he's going to go ahead and do loose change. He's going to get 2 coins because he has 2 attractions in his park. That way he'll be able to afford to build the sideshow or the food outlet in the next step. Back to player 1. Player 1 doesn't get an extra step, so this is his last chance to do something this round for building. And obviously he's going to need to afford some rather expensive things here. He also needs a flagpole at some point. He doesn't have anything in his park, and this is his last chance, so he better just go ahead and get some event cards. Better look and see what he's got. This lets him search the discard pile. That's powerful. This one lets him go ahead and... this one's not as powerful right now because he needs a specific card, so he's going to go ahead and put that in his hand and discard that card. Alright, now this player has the extra park step ability, so he's going to move it to this park step 4 here. And he gets to do one more thing. Well, he has 7 coin, and guess how much that food outlet costs? 7 coin. It says you may also use an action in the future to build a pirate theme on that attraction for free. So he doesn't have one now, but he can build one for free in the future. He's going to go ahead and build that right there next to his super attraction, and then for all his money, he gets to build it. All right. And he's just done his extra step. Is now on to the guest step. Since player 2 is the starting player, we need to count up his stars first, not including the closed monorail attraction. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stars in his park, not counting the closed monorail attraction. That's 8 stars, just like last time. And he already used the ability of those, so those have nothing to do with money. So he gets 8 coin. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now over at this player, it's very different. He has this Balloon Artist, which gets another 5 because he's available this round. And then he needs to add up his stars. He has 1 for the Android Greeter, 2 for the Gate, 3 for the Fast Food Restaurant, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the Thrill Ride, 9, 10 for the Sideshow, 11, 12 for the Cable Car, and 13 for the Theater. So that's just 13 right off the bat. And since his maximum capacity is 15, he's just fine. He can take all 13. It's 10, 11, 12, 13. But he also gets other bonuses. He can choose an open ride attraction in his park. Of course, he's going to choose the one right here, the Florida's roller coaster, and gain extra coins equal to twice its total. Well, its start total was 5, so he's going to go ahead and get extra coins equal to twice 5 is 10. And then, if you look over here, it says gain 1 extra coin per guest step. So he gets to throw in 1 extra coin just because he had that sideshow. All right, so now, oh, but he also gets 8 extra stars. Remember, he had 13? 13 plus 8 is 21, but he only could handle 15. So he gets an extra 2 just to bump up to his 15 limit. I almost forgot about that. All right, so there we go. He's making a lot of money. That was his plan all along. This player is making some pretty big attractions, and he's meeting some blueprints. That was his plan all along. Now, of course, we need to do the cleanup step. We already know how to handle that. We need to go ahead and discard all of these pinned event cards, first and foremost. This one also gets discarded. Then we need to go ahead and flip over this closed monorail. So now it's going to be reopened for the next round. And then our very next and perhaps most important duty is to clear and refill the market. Nice. I just shuffled the park deck because we had run out of cards and they were all in the discard pile, and was able to fill up the marketplace with 6 new cards. I also reshuffled the discard pile for the blueprint deck and put it right there because there were no more blueprint cards in the draw pile. Alright, and then next we need to make sure that nobody's hands exceed 5 cards. This player has built a lot of stuff, but he only has 1 event card right now, so he's fine. Player 2 has 2 park cards in his hand, but no event cards. He has quite a few blueprints, though. He's also fine. Now, of course, we need to go ahead and move this starting player marker over to player 1, and player 1 moves this guy all the way back to the beginning here. Alright, we're going to be beginning the next round, round 5, which is the beginning of the second half of the game, in our next episode. See you then.